Hello and welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, I think by now we've all got the memo that COVID is here to stay and we'll just have to work our way around it or change the way we work around it. Uh, as we reset our business, bring up new rules of engagement, I have joining me a panel of experts from different business verticals, and we're going to be talking as to how we're conducting business in a COVID continuous world. Joining me is Devika Bulchandani. She's the CEO at Ogilvy North America and was earlier with McCann. We have designer Anjul Bhandare. She specializes in chikankari work from the Awadh region, and she's got half of Bollywood wearing her stuff. And I think during wedding season, half of Delhi is also going to be wearing her stuff. Jangbir Singh, he's director at Celebi Airport Services India, that does a firm that does the ground handling and the cargo of 7 airports, including Delhi, Mumbai, and the other metros. Sanjay Thapar, he's a founder of Myriad Communications Private Limited, specializes in brand building, marketing, and business transformation. And Dheeraj Nair, formerly with the Niti Aayog, he's now the chief economist at Vedanta. So Dheeraj, really, I'll come to you first. What are the new rules of engagement? For instance, we've seen that now everything is pressing the reset button and the focus is on digital rather than anything else. Working from home, for instance, that's another new way of doing business. What are the new rules really for engagement?
Yeah, thanks, Priya. So I think, it's probably just as well. I mean, one can never say that, we should have had COVID, but if we ever had to have a pandemic, it's probably good that it happened in an era where digital technology, the internet, connectivity in India in particular, but globally also, is as strong as it is. Because a lot of the new ways of doing business, as you said correctly, are digital based, right? So even if you talk about work from home, or digitizing, say, a factory operation, or in our case, digitizing a mining operation, reducing the number of people who need to be there at any given time. So I think all these things require that fundamental infrastructure, digital infrastructure, which I think, fortunately, over the last 10 or 12 years, 10 or 15 years in India, we've built it up. So I think definitely digital is the future. But I think it's not that we're going to completely let go of the old way of things. I think it's going to be work is now going to be hybrid. There'll be a bit of going to office and a bit of work from home. So I think we're going to have a hybrid world, a bit of the old and a bit of the new. And I think that's fine. And I think eventually, yes, as technology develops more, as connectivity becomes stronger, cheap it already is in India, but as it gets, speeds of internet and 5G and so on increase, we'll move anyway. COVID or no COVID, we would have moved anyway towards that way of doing things. I think COVID has just made it faster. Like demonetization made adoption of digital payments faster. This has made digitalization in many ways, and the new hybrid way of working, the new ways of working, more immediate. I think the only concern I would have is that maybe us human beings will become less useful, to the new economy going forward. So in terms of the traditional jobs, or where we were looking at 10 people doing a job, now maybe only 4 or 5 will do it. The rest technology will handle. So that's something which will need to be addressed. That said, I mean, I'm not going to get hyper about it, because we've had disruptive changes in the past also, where a certain set of jobs disappears, but then a new set of opportunities and jobs comes up. It's just that none of us have that crystal ball through which we can see where the new jobs will come and so on. But there's going to be a period of transition. So while we can look at a lot of good stuff, and there will be a lot of good things which will happen, we should also be careful that the new way of business doesn't lead to the obvious problems in India of losing jobs and not having enough jobs for our youngsters.
Fair enough. Devika, you are here joining us from the US. What are the changes that you are seeing in terms of, apart from, I see, are you working from home, or have we got you at a very early morning?
I'm at home because it's the week of Thanksgiving here in the US. So it's a slow week. But I just want to sort of touch on Dheeraj's point first. I think what's interesting is, yes, there will be implications for sort of what are the new jobs and are people becoming jobless. But one of the biggest things is the implication on human beings. Let's put jobs aside for a minute, right? Are human beings meant to only work through digital technology? We're fundamentally social beings. We need to connect with people. A lot of industries are team sports, not individual sport industries. And that dynamic, when people actually engage with each other, when they're in the same room together, when they can build on ideas and thoughts, and that's certainly my industry, is fundamental not just to work, but it's fundamental to our human condition, right? So we can say that digital technology has accelerated the world, but mental health issues are the highest that it's ever been. So I think this is a much bigger issue that we face as society, and something as employers and as leaders in the world that we have to address, right? So not just the productivity or the job aspect and the hybrid work aspect, but really the impact on the human condition.
Point. Actually, Sanjay, would you like to come in also? And it's just not the way we do business, but also the way we live. I think it's there's a domino effect on that as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with both on one side. I think what Dheeraj said is absolutely right. This is going to be a way of being. I think coming from an economy background, I think the whole predictive model is going to kind of also go through a change completely, because we always had the fear of the unknown in some form. And I think this, when the pandemic came in, nobody knew what's going to happen. So I think it kind of generated a completely new way of business, even between industries and within competitors. So the way I would call it, it became like the CAT model. It was collaborative, it was adaptive, and there was transformation. And I think every industry, including e-commerce, went through transformation because they were facing problems with deliveries. How do they actually get into deliveries? So, people thought that e-commerce is doing very well, digital is doing very well, but in the initial period, they faced a huge problem. I think the other side is what Devika said. I think is absolutely true. I think we by nature are social beings, and I think we miss that social interaction. So we've done some research with one of my partners, and we've actually found that, especially in your industry, Devika, and the client-agency relationship, while the productivity is extremely high at this point of time, but when they compare it to a face-to-face meeting, it is still lower. It may be marginally, and people talk less about it, but I think the amount of strain it puts on interaction, on health issues, how do you deal with it? We've seen across the world, injustice at home increasing, calls in going over there. So there are lots of things which are happening. I think we need to deal with all of this. But I think the bigger point, as I see it, I think, is the change here to stay? The answer is yes.
Of course.
Would we need to adapt to it? The answer is absolutely yes. But I think we'll have to find that mix and that balance, which kind of creates a good work-life balance. It creates a good social balance, yet it actually protects us in various ways. But I think we will be constantly transforming as we go along, constantly pivoting. And I think the only other thing is that the whole predictive norms are going to kind of change completely, and the whole paradigm is going to shift, because nobody knows what's going to happen. We're still wondering whether another wave will come or not. If it comes, what we are going to do. Will a Diwali in India suddenly give a spike somewhere else? Will Thanksgiving and meeting people again when they're opening up stadiums, etc., give a spike? I think all these questions will still need to be answered as we go along. But yes, to be fair, I think it's good from my perspective. At one level, I say my new business model got born on this. So it is a virtual collaborative model. Today we work with 5 different partners across the world with people, and clients are getting comfortable doing a hybrid model, which otherwise they wouldn't have given me business, because they would say, unless you meet face to face with the person who's dealing with you, I won't do it. But now they're willing to take a global solution provider, sitting with somebody in India who understands the insight, and actually take that work and run with it. Because they can still meet somebody locally, but they can still work with somebody who's specialized somewhere else in the world. So I think
that's what I want to bring in Anjul also. Yeah, Sanjay, sorry I'm interrupting you. Anjul, because your thing was more face-to-face, I mean, how do I want to, most of us, I think, would want to try on the clothes before buying them. How have you overcome this, with everything going digital? How are you handling this?
For us, from the background and the business I come from, it's very different. We are not into fast fashion. We are into couture line, where everything is about touch and feel. It's about luxury. It's about when it's your big day, where you would be wearing these very expensive and very heavy clothes, and you want to look your best. At that point of time, that touch, feel, and coming into contact and coming in face to face with each other becomes very important. So once the lockdowns were picked up and everything went back to normal, I don't think we've faced, considering that for the business point of view, we have put in a lot more hygiene efforts in here. We need to sanitize things, and where we could take 6 meetings at a row, we are taking 3 maybe. So at our end, at business point of view, we are taking control and being careful about certain things, and which we will have to be, I guess. But when you come to thinking of whether the people are ready to come out and ready to do the touch, feel, and come in contact with each other. I think people are just tired of sitting at home. Especially in India, the weddings are happening with the same bank. If you're allowed 200, 250 is a norm. And suits us perfectly. And of course, as Devika puts it, we are socially fit human beings, and we do not like to stay contained in a house where we can be in our pajamas and blow dried head. Doesn't work.
Anjul, don't tell everybody what I'm wearing at the bottom. Come on.
Then she got the
Just
blow
doesn't work.
hair right. Huh.
So, how much ever, as everybody's putting across, that how much ever productive we may become in front of the camera screens and in front of the computers. But at the end of the day, if you ask anybody, they want to get back to work. We, as a society, as the youngsters have it, it's really sad to put it across that in the metros, we've got the highest divorce rates today. And the reason being because they can't tolerate each other. They're into each other's faces, which is really not justified. We need to get out. We need to get out. We need to socialize with other people. We need to actually be broader when it comes to our thinking. And how far can you be face to face on a camera and still, not socialize and not get a better perspective to things? I don't think it works.
I don't think it's going to last.
Interact with people, it doesn't work. And for my business, 100% it doesn't work. I want people to come out for sure. I want them to be out and about. The more they get out, the better for me. So it works.
I think Jagbir would agree with you. And he's our man on the ground at the airports. You want people to be up and about and in the skies, don't you, Jagbir? But what is the real situation?
Well, the real situation is in our industry, there's been a complete metamorphosis. Generally, aviation, was transcending towards that an airport was becoming an equivalent of, let's say, a bus station, and it's part of your life. You take a flight from anywhere to anywhere. But what's happened is certain events occur periodically that change how you take a flight from one point. I touched upon this earlier too. Security came after 9/11, and as much as you wanted to get in and out of an airport as swiftly as you could, but you had no choice, but you'd be stuck in there for 3 hours. But the outcome of that was each airport became a little ecosystem of itself, because we knew we had 3 hours of yours. And if you processed you through security, you are going to eat, you are going to do so a huge ecosystem developed at each airport. We're sort of back in a different way now. So you will have to spend more time at the airport, because there's going to be a lot of testing, and the norms are still coming through. But anybody who wants to take a flight wants to enter and exit an airport as soon as possible. So airports are thriving. It's not only the business, it's a lot of leisure travel which is coming out, but we still at the early stages. Like the other panel was saying, that there's a lot of wait and watch happening. We still have no directives actually on what kind of sanitization to do, how many tests. Every country has its own guidelines, and they change so rapidly. So there's a sense of chaos right now at the airports, but I see a lot of people there. However masked up or unmasked they are, but and how many times you may get your nose pierced by all the cotton swabs, but they are at it. So I'm hoping for this trajectory to be good.
On that note, I want to take a break and come back and talk more about the various business models and what businesses are doing in the way they do their business. We are discussing the new rules of engagement in a COVID continuous world. Dheeraj, a little bit more about going digital first. I mean, not digital first, but being more digital. Yes, it's not a good thing. Yes, people are going to feel redundant. We need to be more socially active. But the point is that everybody's cutting size. Office space is now being given up for more working from home situations. The way goods are being sold, marketed are also being different. E-commerce is getting a heads up over the other things. So there are a lot of these changes that are happening.
No, that's inevitable. When a shock of this kind happens, and this is a once in 100-year kind of shock, you're bound to see changes happen. And I'm not saying at all that digitalization is a bad thing. I think it was going to happen anyway. It's just going to happen faster now, because you and I, or all of us sitting here on Zoom and doing the show, before COVID, Priya, you would never allow us to join on our computers, right? You would expect us to be in your studio or in wherever the thing is happening. So I think we've all got used to it. And now that it's easier and makes us more productive in many ways, there's no going back, right? So I think in that sense, productivity increase, as you said, saving an office, if you're a startup or a new company, why would you spend lakhs or crores of rupees renting an office space if you can get the same amount of productive work out of your employees with them working at home? So there's a cost implication. Then we are looking at the larger issue. The other big issue of this in this world now is climate change, right? And our climate footprint, and people want us to do more. Again, in that context, digitalization, more efficiency, hybrid models, working from home, less commuting, all of that helps that as well. So going back to the old ways of doing things is not going to happen. A, because we've got used to it. B, because the world cannot afford to go back to the old ways of doing things. We have to move on. And I think, yes, so the job of government in this case is to make sure that those who are losing out, because, in any disruptive change, some people lose. So you have to support them either with social security or help them reskill, retrain. If there are going to be new jobs and new sectors, you need to get those people into those sectors. So I think there's a job to be done, awareness to be spread. Government has to play a proactive role. But I think we're definitely moving forward. So I don't see, much as though one feels terrible about the lives lost and the disruption of business caused by COVID, now we are not going to go back to some, perfect world or the world as we thought it would be, 1.5 years ago. This is a different world and we all have to get used to it. As I said, it's not that the old, so when Anjul says that her business still requires face-to-face, that will also happen. It's not that every business is going to go digital and nobody's ever going to see each other again. That's not going to happen. But those businesses which have seen the efficiency gains and seen the productivity gains and which can do businesses this way, will do it this way. And the new emerging businesses or the new generation for that matter, all of us here are of a certain age, but say people who are coming of age now and going into the work world or the world of entrepreneurship, they will only know this way of doing it. For them, that old world didn't exist. It's like, the world before 91 in India and the world after 91. It's completely different. So, you don't go back to that world. You may have nostalgia. We may discuss, it was really nice that time. But that's
now it's time to move on.
I think I look at it positively. I think the disruption has been bad, but I think the opportunities, the new ways of doing business, the new businesses themselves, which will come, the new business verticals, which themselves will come up. Care, for example, now you realize how important it is. Healthcare will grow in India. Skilling will grow in India. So a lot of sectors which will come up very strongly after COVID, which we kind of ignored earlier, which will create their own jobs and their own momentum. So I think
get the others in also, Dheeraj. Yeah. Basically, what Dheeraj is saying.
Let's not lament the past. Let's look forward.
Let's look forward. Devika, he's saying when a door shuts, a window opens. Only I think this time it's a Microsoft window because we'll see more and more people going digital. But in advertising, have you noticed any changes?
So I think there's obviously many changes. It's the way that we come up with ideas is different because we used to sit in rooms with pens and paper and a lot of sort of heated dialogue and debate. And now you're on a Microsoft screen or you're on a Zoom screen. So the way we concept ideas has changed. The way we actually produce ideas has changed. Everybody had to be on a set, right? Production sets were important. The client traveled and the agency traveled and the producers were there. And obviously the people who were going to be in the ads were there. And now you're doing a lot of the production remote, right? We've actually been able to produce things in 6 days, in 6 hours, in 8 days. We've actually shot the first ever car commercial during COVID using sort of a prototype of a car and then using technology to make it feel like it's real. So all aspects of the business are changing. One of the biggest changes for us obviously has been we're a very show up culture. You have to be there in front of clients. You have to be there. If there's a meeting, people were always there because you ideated together. So that's a massive change for us. And I mean, if you guys have seen Hamilton, there's a very famous song there which says you're in the room where it happened. And if you're not in the room where it happened in our industry, you were sort of left out. And we are really trying to figure out how to do that hybrid model where half the people are in the room, because the conversation when you're in the room is very different. I forget somebody's on screen. If 3 of us were in the room with you, Priya, and 2 of us weren't, the 3 who were in the room would have a much better conversation than the 2. So that dynamic of how do you make everybody feel like they're in the room where it happened, right? Because when you're all in the Zoom where it happened, even that's easy. But the hybrid thing is very tricky for us. And we are working our way through it. In the US, I don't know if you guys have heard of this term, it's also called the Great Resignation. So it's called the Great Resignation. People are quitting jobs like you have never seen. This is the employee economy, because they want to work they want to work the way they want to work. My hypothesis actually on why people are quitting is because one of the biggest reasons we stay with jobs is because of the relationships we create. I don't have those relationships anymore. So it's very easy. The cost of quitting and saying, I will just get a new job because the new job is going to be better. It's very easy. It's all become very transactional. But our jobs, and it doesn't matter where we live, our jobs actually have an emotional component to it, right? You become friends with people you work with. You work together every day. You find out about their children. You know whether they're getting married. Actually, in our industry, there's the highest rate of marriages.
Right.
So when that goes away, it becomes really complicated, and we're navigating all of this. Again, we're not going to go back. We have to move forward. But the dynamics of how we move forward and how we balance these things, so people are productive, but at the same time, you also have, I think it's really important to love doing your work as well, right? I want employees that are super happy. How you balance that is, we'll figure it out. I think you said CAT, collaborate, adapt, and what, I don't know what T was, but
Transform.
yeah, so
Transform.
we're
Okay.
still we're in the adapt sort of mode here.
Sanjay, let me get you in, because you are someone who has adapted really, So in fact, you and I, one of the reasons we did the show is a conversation I had with Sanjay, and he was talking to me about how, you're looking at, when you're marketing, you're going digital first, and then, for the shelves, or, for the physical world. So a bit about how these norms are changing and what you are doing about it.
Yeah, I think I'll just pick up from where Devika left out. I think the big thing in and the big shift I see is exactly the word she used, which is transactional. The more digital you get into your meetings, rather than having some kind of face-to-face interactions, your whole relationship with people becomes more transactional. And I think our business, and I'm not saying mine, but overall, I think businesses are built not on businesses relationships, but with people. Because even in B2B businesses, it's a people-to-people relationship. And I think people are quitting job partly because you're right, there are options and they want to do it according to the way they want to do it. But I think they're also quitting jobs because they, I think, have realized the value of some balance between work and home.
Agreed.
I've been talking to some clients, and we've done a fair amount of study on this. Some clients are saying that they'll never go back to a 5-day week. They'll struggle to get back to 3-day or 4-day week. They're dying to get back, as they call, bums on the seat, but they're not managing because people are revolting. They're saying, listen, why do I need to do it when I'm doing that? I used to get that 1 hour extra sleep in the morning, or 1 hour extra with my family in the morning rather than commute, and then 1 hour extra in the evening. If I can do that from home, why do I need to do that? So there are those kind of people. And then there are people who are some of the youngsters, as Anjul pointed out, who are just dying to get back because they want to get back, they want to meet, they want to have that chai break, they want to have that coffee break. And I think you'll find that mix which is happening. So to me, I think this is going to be continuously evolving. I mean, can I predict what's going to happen? It's extremely difficult. But yes, I think the hybrid model is here to stay. Clients and sort of people and businesses will still try and get people back, because I think they believe that some amount of relationship buildings makes working more emotionally connected rather than transactional. But people may resist back because they're saying they get that little bit extra time rather than commute and the tiredness, and how do I deal with it? When I used to work in India today, it used to take me 3 hours going and coming, sometimes 4. When the pandemic broke and I was working from home, the biggest advantage I saw was I was getting 2 hours extra, whether it was for an exercise or whether it was yoga in the morning or going for a walk in the evening.
Does your wife share that sort of advantage?
I think she did at this. She definitely did, because I think we both got into it. I mean, she herself was the one who taught me yoga. I didn't even know it. So we did that in the morning. But that 1 hour extra, because otherwise you'd leave at 8 o'clock. You would come back at 8 o'clock in the night. You were so exhausted. At my age, you wouldn't want to do anything. So you would struggle to do your workout or anything else, just 2 days, maximum 3 days a week. If you push it, you could get 6 days a week. So I think it just made a lot. And those things are very difficult to kind of relate to. So at work, you still want to go back and have that interaction, but on the outside you still want to say, hang on, can I get that 2 hours extra? So I think it'll be that balance which people will have to figure out themselves, and I don't think anybody will be able to force that with anybody.
Anjul, do you have anything to add apart from I saw you raise an eyebrow when Dheeraj said most of us on this panel are of a certain age? I don't think that went on very well, did it? So either Dheeraj
Never does.
apologizes or you take him on.
No, but I personally feel that it's, as he rightly said, that we really need to have a balance, and it's going to be each one to its own. So as he said, that it works very nicely for him, that he gets those 2 hours extra, he gets the workout, and he gets to spend more time with the family. We have to see the other side of the family, whether the wife also wants to make those 3 extra cups for him and get their extra pakoras for him. Maybe she's not interested. Maybe she wants him to go out. So, it's going to be different for everybody. I'm one of the persons who wants to be out and about. Devika, on the other hand, wants to be out for sure. And when it comes to certain people, they're happy. They feel they're more productive when they're sitting at home. So I guess, as he rightly puts it, it's going to be each one to its own. So if to come to think of it, that we have to take it forward from here, yes, we have to. But we have to decide that this is going to be the norm. I don't agree with that. It's going to be both ways. You want to go to the office, there is going to be space for that. If you want to be working from home, that is always going to be there, as the startups would want it, as the people would want to. For me, nothing much has changed. I always had my girls working from home even before the pandemic. So nothing changed there. But yes, as far as the clients coming out, that made a difference. But now, let me put this very clearly, that everybody's time has become far more precious. So if a client is working out, if they could think of coming out 3 times, 4 times and deciding what they wanted to do, they want to do it because of the COVID at the first go. I'm going to spend 3 hours at one time, finish off and walk off. That's the difference. So for every business, everything, things are going to be different. There are enough offices who can work from home, I'm sure, and they can manage, and they get their profitability also, and they get people working on it. But there are certain businesses which cannot work from home. Devika, on the other hand, can have a prototype and make a Audi out of it. I cannot have a prototype of a lehenga and make a bride wear it. I have to make an actual lehenga. That's the difference. And
Anjul, you can do anything.
Well, I think that's the new way of handling the COVID, the world post-COVID, is that one can actually, the challenge is that, we can do anything.
You can get virtually married. Yeah, you can get married on this, and you can, by technology, have your lehenga and all that. So it's
no. Doesn't mean
no technology
you can't
lehenga.
wear it over that. You have to virtually not wear it. You have to wear it physically to be the bride.
I
am
agree
sorry
with
that
Anjul.
doesn't work.
Yes.
I
On that
hope
note,
we never
Dheeraj, you're
work
losing
like
the woman vote today.
Maybe it's possible.
Anjul, you're going to do some NFTs with your lengas.
What is NFT? No frills.
No,
it is never going to work like that.
tokens.
Let's put it across.
Digital art.
Once you get married and you really want to wear that, even if you're getting married virtually, but the boy and the girl have to still stand together. It cannot happen. Okay, it happens when the boy is in the US and the girl is in India, but she will still wear her lehenga, so it works well.
From
Can you
lehengas
imagine
to
one day
airlines,
we'll
let me
have
give
digital babies?
Sorry?
One day we'll have digital babies.
What about that? That's going to be hard.
Shankveer, I'm going to give you the last word really on this.
My industry is completely different. There's no work from home. We are full contact.
Been working throughout
So
COVID.
there is
yeah.
no way. So as a matter of fact, the dynamics for India in aviation is driven completely differently. The way we look at it, one of the factors we are looking at is, as people want to reduce travel time and being in a larger group, I see a substantial amount of the rail travel population which pays an equivalent fare moving to air. And there was a huge the middle class or the lower middle class which refrained from that. So train travel was, let's put it this way, very traditional, accepted, down, and sometimes it takes a little push to come over the threshold. Now that behavior change would have taken a lot longer. All of a sudden, because of COVID, people want to get from, let's say, from the city to the village, if that's where they belong, rather than being stuck in a train for 24 hours. They are engaging and taking tickets. So I look at it that aviation is going to grow tremendously. But with that, we are full contact. I mean, during COVID also, we were out there. We had no idea how the transmission was occurring, but, we just took a prayer on our lips and we were doing our job every day. So the dynamics for my industry is completely different.
Me
Out
and
there.
Ranbir are on the same page. I think we like it that way.
Okay. On that note, thank you all. We really overshot the time. So I'm going to say a quick goodbye and we'll see you again soon. This is a conversation we're going to keep having time and again, I think, the next few months. But thank you all for this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.